David and his unicorn. Okay, so the in chapter 16, the title is Biotechnology. And the title of this lesson is called Changing the Living World. Things we do that changes the way our life is and changes the way how organisms look. Okay, now there are two objectives. The first objective is to understand why we use selective breeding. Selective breeding. And then the second one is to understand how humans can increase genetic variations within our species. Okay, so let's move into selective breeding. Now, you see all these dogs here, guys? You see all these dogs? See all these dogs? Okay? Now, these dogs are not natural. They're living things, but they're not like naturally created. Okay? They're not naturally created. Now, one of those dog is this guy right here. This is called an American Eskimo. This is an American Eskimo. This is my dog, okay? She's my dog, okay? Her name is Bella, okay? Her name is Bella. Bella means beautiful. She's a beautiful dog, okay? She is a mix. She's a mix between a husky and a German shepherd, or wolf. I think it's like a husky and a wolf, okay? And these dogs, regular size, they're big. These are sleigh dogs. Sleigh dogs are dogs that pull the sleigh in the snow, okay? That's what these dogs are for. Now, but the regular size. I have a miniature size, and she's about 35. I like to say about 25 to 30 pounds, because she's a miniature. She's about this big. My dog is about this big, okay? And she's very smart. She's very, very smart, okay? She's very strong. In the 12 years that we have owned her, she has been sick maybe one time, two times. That's it. In 12 years, she's been sick one or two times. And it's because of my fault, because I used to give her hot dog. And hot dog is not good for animals, and not good for humans, because hot dog contains a lot of preservatives, okay? And the preservatives, it contains a lot of salt. And salt, what it does is it affects your metabolism. Salt absorbs water, absorbs moisture, and it makes you gain weight, okay? And it affects other organs of your body. So when I was, many years ago, when I like hot dogs, I microwave them, and then I eat them, and when I'm hungry sometimes. And every time I eat, I give her a whole hot dog. I give her a hot dog, the same one I eat. That was too much. So what happened was, she started drinking a lot of water because the salt dried her up. And then she started losing fur on her body. Now, I realized about 4 or 5 months after feeding her hot dogs every other day when I was eating it, and she was not healthy. So I stopped feeding her hot dog because I noticed the preservative and the salt that was affecting her. Now, but she is healthy now. She's an old woman. She's 12 years old. So I'm thinking she might live for another year or 2 years and she'll die, okay? Because her lifespan is up to 14, 15 years, and that's it. That's done. Now, human versus dog years, every 1 human year is 7 dog years, okay? Every 1 human year is 7 dog years. So she is very old. You know what I mean, guys? We good? Now, all of these dogs, people, have been selectively bred, okay? All of these dogs have been selectively bred. That means that humans, what we do is we look at traits that we like. We look at traits, we look at certain features. We look at, let's say, a dog that is very strong physically, big bone, long legs, no fur, a funny face, whatever it is that we like. So we breed them. And so we can have those traits in our dog. Now, a lot of the problem is when we breed dogs, sometimes it's good, it's bad, it's neutral, right? Sometimes good, bad, and neutral. And so we've been doing it for a long time. Pets are not the only species that we selectively bred. We do it with a lot of plants. Humans, we do a little bit slowly now, because humans, if you have the money, you can hire a geneticist and you can get the genes that you want in your baby. So you can have what is called an in vitro baby. That means that they create the baby using random DNA that you want, and then they put it into the mother. They grow the baby, they grow the cells of the baby, in a test tube. And then once the cells are mature enough, they put it into the mother, and then the mother is pregnant, and then she gives birth to a baby with the genes that they want. So that's selectively breeding, okay? But that's another topic, okay? That's another topic that we'll talk about later on. Now, selectively breeding is similar to what we call biotechnology. Now, biotechnology is a process. It's a method. It's a new invention in the last maybe few decades. And it is a way for us to change and to use to create a species with traits that we want. Okay, so selective breeding. How long has it been around? Thousands and thousands of years. But that's just on the surface. It's at the big scale, macro scale. But at the DNA scale, biotechnology has taken over selective breeding. Okay, biotechnology is selective breeding is a form of biotechnology, but at the bigger scale. You know, you see the dog, you like the ears, then you mate that dog with another dog that has nice ears so that you can have babies with nice ears. That's selective breeding. So to move on and talk about a little history, now, selective breeding goes back thousands, hundreds, thousands of years. Now, one of those examples that we have a lot of evidence of is this plant right here. This plant is called teosinte. Teosinte, I think that's how you pronounce it, teosinte. Now, this plant is grown in central Mexico. It's a native of central Mexico. And it is a cousin of a plant called corn, okay? So teosinte and corn are like brother sisters. They're like cousins. And so in 1492, the Europeans they sailed to Central and South America, and they saw the Native Americans, and they saw the Aztecs, the Aztec Empire. They were growing these plants that they didn't know what it was. It was easy. It has high cultivation. That means you can grow a lot, and it's highly productive, and it's also nutritious, and you can make a lot of things from it. And it's called corn. It's right here. It's called corn. So it's this one. Okay, I love corn. I like corn. Okay, I like tortillas. I'll tell you that. I like naans. When you go to the Indian restaurant, eat naan. Yes, you know what I'm talking about, guys. Naan. Oh, so good. Guys, sorry. Let me wipe off my saliva. Okay. So naan is delicious with some garlic and some cilantro. Oh, so good. Okay. So these European sailors, merchants, in 1492, they came to Central and South America, and they saw these people growing corn. And they're like, what the heck is this? So they saw what these people were using corn for, how easy it is, how nutritious it is to the people. And so then they copy, they kind of steal the idea, and they brought it back to Europe. Okay, they brought it back to Europe. Now we study corn, and we found that corn and teosinte are closely related in terms of its DNA, because if you go back 100 years, we don't know much about DNA. We couldn't compare DNA, but in the last maybe 3 or 4 decades, we know a lot more about DNA, and we have computers where we can sequence the DNA of teosinte and corn. And this is what the geneticists have found. They say that corn came from this plant, and that it was artificially, selectively bred to create corn. So this has the DNA of this guy, and it goes back 10,000 years. 10,000 years, and that's a long time ago. So 10,000 years ago, they start producing what is now called corn. Okay, very, very, very ingenious, very creative, right? Now, this is a great story. Without corn, corn is a staple food in many society. Rich and poor, okay? Rich and poor, it doesn't matter. So, fast forward, 10,000 years ago, okay, to today. Now almost today. Now, so in the mid-1800s, okay, a botanist is a person who studies plants. He is a well-known selective breeder. That means a person, that's him, right here. His name is Burke L. last name is Burt. Now, so Burbank, okay, Burbank, what he in the mid 1800s, he is a botanist and he's well known for the time, during that time. And if you understand history, in the mid 1800s, there was a lot of famine. Okay, there was a lot of poor, very poverty was very high. People didn't have any nutritious food. There was no food at all, and so Burbank, what he did was he created, supposedly he created, right? I don't know the exact, but according to this our text, it said that he created the russet potatoes. He created this russet potatoes. This potato, I like potatoes, guys. I like potatoes. I like all sorts of potatoes. And he created russet potatoes because it was high in nutrients, it's high in energy, and it fed a lot of poor people during that time. Burbank, what else he also did was he studied plants. He studied different types of plants because he was a botanist. Okay, botanists, people who study plants. And what he did is he looked at the traits of these plants, and just like humans, no plant is perfect, right? A plant may be perfect in one way, but it could be like a negative in something else. So what Burbank did is he took different plants with different positive, great traits. So he took one plant that's disease resistant, and then he took another plant that's very good at producing, has high capacity. He combines them. He calls it his process called hybridization. The word is right here. Hybridization is when you selectively breed two different plants that are highly compatible. They're close to each other enough where he took the traits of the best trait of this plant and the best trait of that plant. He merged them into one plant. Okay? A lot of those plants we eat, consume today. Some of those, like broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, all those plants, they come from a plant called mustard plant. Mustard plant is a plant that is very strong and it grows everywhere. So if you ever go for a hike, you see the little yellow flowers. Those are called mustard. If you eat the flower, it tastes like mustard. You know, the yellow mustard. Now, broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, all those are cousins. They came from mustard plants. So that's what Burbank did. He hybridized a lot of new species, and he saved a lot of people for that time. Okay. Now, so why do we do it? Why do we do all this stuff? Now, some people they're crazy. What they do is because they like a certain trait, right? They like a certain trait so much, kind of like this pit bull, right? Look at this cute face. Oh, so cute, right? So cute, so cute. Look at this beagle. Beagles are very smart, guys. Beagles are they're hunting dogs, okay? Very smart. Poodles, oh, they're so cute. So cute. None of these dogs are natural. None of them are natural. None of them are naturally reproduced, meaning that nature created. No, these are all selectively bred. Okay, selectively bred. Now, so sometimes breeders, what they do is they do what is called inbreeding. And when you do inbreeding, it's because you take two species, like two poodles, and you cross them because you like a certain trait. You like the pretty eyes of this poodle, and you like the pretty eyes of another poodle. Even if the two poodles are cousins or brother sisters, you take them because you like a certain trait so much, and you don't see it in other, and you want that trait to show up. So what you do is you mate them. You mate brother sisters, you mate cousins, you mate like third generation cousins. They're so close to each other that what happened is most likely your offspring will have the traits that you breed. Now, but here's a negative. The negative is if you are mating, if you're breeding brother sisters, like dogs, what happened is the probability of having a disease shows up is much higher. So if you have a cousin, let's say, for example, in your family, right, you have diabetes. Let's say in my family, we have diabetes. And a lot of people in my family have diabetes. Let's say all the men have it. And let's say you take two cousins a female cousin and a male cousin. The male cousin has diabetes. What's the probability of the babies having diabetes? It's very high because you are inbreeding. You're breeding brothers, sisters, and cousins, which have a high probability of having diabetes or some disease. So if that one person in the family, like let's say me, I marry somebody who is not from my family, the probability of my kids having the disease that's known in my family is much lower because my DNA is going to mix with my wife, who is a stranger to me, not related to me. So therefore, the probability of disease is reduced versus inbreeding. So inbreeding is, well, you get the traits you want. You get the pit bull face. Oh, look at the pretty eyes. You get the big ears so that this beagle can hear. You get the cute poodle. But you get disease. It increases the genetic diseases that are found when you inbreed. Now, but do people stop? No, people don't stop. Now, is there a difference between inbreeding or selective breeding different species? Yes, there's a difference when it comes to plants and animals. I think there's more selective breeding in plants. Now, how many of you go to the grocery store with your parents? Yes, okay, you should because you learn something, right? When I was a kid, when I was your age, I used to go grocery shopping with my mom every time. And every time I go with my mom always lets me buy one thing, a treat that I like, right? That's why I go, to get that treat, that small treat, like 99 cents or 50 cents, something like that. And I always go, right? And I would come across produce, food, right? Vegetables. And I would see something like this, fruits like this. I would see a fruit like this. Something like this. This is a strawberry. This is also a strawberry. This is not a normal strawberry. This is not normal. This is normal. This is what strawberry looks like. This is not normal. Now, what the heck happened? It is called selective breeding. It is humans, breeders, they create, we initiate, we create mutations. The mutation in this example is called polyploid. Polyploid is when when a cell receives multiple copies of a chromosome. So instead of having, for example, right? Instead of having, let's say cotton having the right number of chromosomes, they have double. So let's say humans, instead of 46 chromosomes, that's how many we have. Some of us, we have 92. Now for humans, you cannot survive with 92, you would die. If you had 92, which is a polyploid, you would die, okay? You would die. Now, but for fruits and vegetables and other smaller, simpler animals, it might be possible, especially plants, fruits. So this strawberry has maybe, let's say it doesn't have the DNA here, but let's say if it has, let's say the normal chromosome is 10. Let's say it's 10, okay? That means that this one has 20. So in essence, what it is 2 strawberries combined in one. It has double the number of chromosomes. That's what it means. Double the number of chromosomes. And that's called polyploidy, okay? Polyploid. Poly means multiple chromosomes. And you see it a lot in vegetables and in crops, in fruits, okay? We also create mutations using radiation and chemicals. We initiate these mutations. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's neutral, sometimes it's bad, okay? But we initiate them and we test. Now, a lot of it is done around the world now. Most of the food that you and I consume, I have to say let's say you go to Stater Brothers, you go to Vons Albertson, and you go into, let's say, certain departments than others. I can tell you that soybean, everyone know, how many of you enjoy soybean? Drink soybean? You drink or you eat soybean? I like soybean, okay? It's very, very good for you. Now, I say that 98, 99% of soybean are genetically modified. They are selectively bred. They are mutated so that they can be more nutritious. They grow better. They're more resistant to diseases and a lot of stuff. Okay, so that the farmer can grow more, make more money, and then he sells it to you. You're happy because the soybeans are bigger, they're more nutritious. You get more soybean for your money, and everyone's happy. See what I mean? Everyone's happy. So, breeders understand the importance of genetic variations. They understand that you need to be different because if everyone's the same and a disease comes, like COVID-19, most people die. But because we are genetically different, only a small number will die. That's just how things are because you don't have the right DNA. So they can increase it in a species population by introducing mutations using radiation and chemicals. Sometimes good, sometimes neutral, sometimes bad. Okay? And then we do it to plants because we can sell more. So if you were to buy strawberries, right, and you want to make a strawberry smoothie, and they both cost the same amount of money, this strawberry and that strawberry cost the same amount of money, which one would you buy? Would you buy this one or this one? I buy this one, right? I buy the big one because I get more strawberry. I get double the strawberry for the same price. Now, the farmer, he doesn't have a problem. He does not have a problem growing this strawberry because this strawberry has chemicals. It has chemicals which resist pests, bugs. The bugs don't even want to eat the strawberry because it has chemicals. So it's easier for it to grow. So he's able to grow a lot more of this than the natural. That's why he's able to sell it for the same price as a smaller tomato, or a smaller strawberry. Now, tomato is another fruit that is highly genetically engineered. It is so different from what it is naturally that I tell you, you buy tomatoes at the store, they're like ginormous pumpkins, right? Ginormous pumpkins. Pumpkins do not grow, 500 pounds. You've seen pictures of it. They get maybe 100 pounds, not 500, 1,000 pounds. Those are all genetically modified. And so, is it good? Is it bad? Well, I can tell you this. I think it's good and it's also bad. But without genetic engineering, a lot of people would starve. So what do you do? What do you do? Right? What do you do? So the key is to eat healthy. Don't eat just microwave food. I'm guilty of that. Don't eat just ramen. I'm guilty of that too. You gotta eat a variety of things so that your body stays healthy. Okay, people, that is lesson number 1. Okay, thumbs. Can I see your thumb? Okay, how we feel? Are we good? We good? Okay, David's going crazy. David's so happy he's going crazy. Okay, now this is what I'd like you to do.